so excited to come to you and talk to you about what we are going to be calling the business factor. Business factor, game changer for entrepreneurs, game changer for leaders, game changer for everybody that wants to be in control. In control of what? Your business, your leadership, and your entrepreneurial journey. Hi, my name is Chilumba Walia, and I'm excited to come to you this wonderful afternoon. So if you can get us, or you can hear us, or you can see us, please just comment in the comment box below. Say hi if you can. We'll be more than glad and excited to share what we have with you. So basically, I'm going to be talking to you about what the business factor is. The business factor is a program that was conceived basically to take a leading role in skilling and educating entrepreneurs to be ready to take on the next wave of growth. In case you've forgotten, we've just about to hit a decade, a new decade. In a few weeks, in a few days, we will be hitting a new decade. It will be 2020 very soon, and I hope that excites you. But what does that mean? In terms of the business factor, what we want to remind you is that we want to take you into a place where you are ready to dominate, you are ready to lead. Remember, when we talk about dominance, we mention the fact that unless you are number one, or at least a leader in your category, it's very highly unlikely that you're going to make the $1 million that you want to make. Leaders in every category are people who understand and are skilled enough to be able to make progress. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Then in terms of the program, we're excited because this is going to be a program that educates you and also equips individuals to be able to take that leap. We've received questions like, when is it the best time to quit my day job? What is the best side hustle that I can take? What do I need to be an entrepreneur? What are the basic skills that an entrepreneur needs? Do I need a degree? Do I need an MBA? Do I need to be tall, 5 foot, 1.8 meters high, or fat, or thin, or light, or brown, whatever it is? We've received so many questions, and we want to cover those questions on this show. So without further ado, I want to open this program by talking to you about winning strategy. What? Winning strategies for the next decade. The next decade starts in the next few weeks, as I said, and I want to talk to you about that. So if you've got a pen, if you've got a friend that you think should listen to this, tag them in a video, tag them in this live cast, and let them listen and take notes on what will change the game. What I'm doing today is just introducing this subject, and we are going to go back to it and do more. So today I share a few nuggets around what you will need to be successful in 2020. Your winning strategy, be it a leader, be it an entrepreneur, be it an individual trying to go out there and be a game changer, this is something you should not miss. So, drum roll. I love drum rolls. Hope you're having fun. So drum roll, the first thing that you need to do as an entrepreneur, as a business leader going into 2020 is obviously understand emotional intelligence. So we talk about emotional intelligence and we ask ourselves, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is simply the ability to express your feelings. I know we've been talking fourth industrial revolution as a people, as a global, ecosystem and society of businesses and entrepreneurs. But I want you not to forget that AI and everything else that is digital is controlled by human beings. And therefore, we've got to be ready to communicate and have the ability to be able to communicate emotions and to be able to read into emotions. Because the people that develop these systems for us and run them will need to be managed. So in 2020 and beyond, within the next decade, ensure that you understand what drives people, what motivates people, what puts them in the best place to perform and get those results going. The number 2 factor is data. Data in the next decade is going to be very, very critical. And I don't mean data in terms of just data for it being data. I mean data literacy. How well are you able to interpret data? If you check anything that's happening now, it's huge sums of data that is going into inputting for changing of games, for marketing, for sales, for consumer behavior analysis, for creation of products and services, even actually for planning and ensuring economic development in the case of government reaches the intended people. So data literacy, I call it data lit. Data lit. Data literacy becomes a very important skill for business and entrepreneurs. Can you read data? If you had a data set or huge sums of data behind in front of you, would you be able to interpret it? Every entrepreneur who's going to win the game needs to read into that market. Let me give you an example. You are going to be launching a service or a product. Do you know who your customer is? Do you know where they hang out? Do you know what hours they exercise their decision to purchase or dispose of goods and services? That is going to be important. So please, as an example, we want you to be data literacy. The third one is creativity. Now, creativity is the level of innovation. The level of innovation. Now, when we talk creativity, we tend to lose the game as entrepreneurs because creativity, for example, in Africa has always been linked to the fact that technology is what creativity is about. Not at all. Creativity is a mother to innovation. Innovation creates opportunities for economic growth and creation of new products and services. Your level of creativity becomes a game changer in 2020 and beyond. And this is simple because innovation feeds on creativity. Without creativity, we will not have newer products, we will not have newer services, but we will also, most importantly, not have access to creative solutions for the problems that we face today. So we've got to turn on the creativity node. Now, creativity has been something that has been preached over the past 20 years, but let me tell you, we've not reached anything yet. Bill Gates just launched a toilet recently that is able to give us clean water and is able to give us outputs of fertilizer. That's creativity to another level. That's got to change the game. As resources, both tangible and non-tangible resources become more scarce, creativity will become the name of the game and the output for all solutions. So 2020, a leader, a business leader, an entrepreneur, you need to up your game. So be deliberate about the gaps that you create for you and your team to be creative. The fourth one is flex. Flex. What is this thing called flex? Flexibility. Your ability to be turned and formed into something that is different. Jobs are going to shift. Give you an example. 5 years ago, you trained in a particular area. 5 years later, today, those skills that you learned, if you've not been creative enough to be able to upgrade or update yourself, are becoming almost irrelevant. The next decade is going to be ruled by creative individuals with a high level of flexibility. Flexibility also means your ability to change in the aspect of time without wasting too much resources, time, and opportunities. How flexible are you as an entrepreneur? We don't want you to fall in love with your service or your product. Too in love that flexibility becomes the last thing you think about. Flexibility also goes to those in jobs. You're listening to me right now, and you've been an economist, you've been a banker, you've been a marketeer, you've been a restaurateur, you've been a baker, you've been anything. Without flexibility, your ability to reach out to the customer and being able to get what I call the consumer vote, called a purchase, is going to be difficult to get because your level of flexibility will talk to how innovative, how smart, and how ready you are to take on the opportunities that come in 2020. So be flexible. And let's move on to number 5, which is adaptability. Whatever you have mastered over the past 5 years, like I said, should be flex and should be adaptable. But let's talk about your ability to get into the areas that are uncomfortable. For instance, being able to read data. Another example, being able to go on social media. Every business that's on not social at this stage is going to miss out, which leads us to number 6, because the SME 2020 and beyond becomes a multinational organization. What? You heard me right. The SME, small and medium enterprise, that entrepreneur setting up right under a tree somewhere in Ghana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, South Africa, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania. Yes, that same one is going to become a multinational 2020 and beyond. Why? Because the market fault lines are going to become more and more and more flatter. So don't be scared of the big guys, because the consumer is looking for opportunities and is looking for opportunities to cast the vote on products and services that changes their lives and are created differently. So I want you to pay attention to the fact that the SME, small and medium enterprise, becomes the multinational, which leads me to number 7. Number 7 winning strategy for 2020, for the next decade and beyond, is that the SME needs to gain confidence in understanding their market and appreciating that their market is no longer local. It's no longer a fish pond game. If you're listening and you've got a small business and you've always thought, my business has always attended to very, communal kind of environment, and I only reach 50, 60, 70, 100 people, you need to up your game to win 2020 and beyond. Begin to think of yourselves and deploy actions and activities in the market that takes you global, because you are no longer playing a local game. I can give you all sorts of examples in Africa and Europe, in the USA, of people who have only 5 people, for example, in their network at home, and talk to many hundreds and sometimes thousands and millions of people in terms of their services outside of their natural geography. So I wanted to give you those 7 tips, and that is gonna change your game. But let me close it this way. And say the other important thing that we want to pay attention to is you. In 2020, what are you thinking about? What are you preoccupied about? Have you written your visions and your goals down? Are you able, as an entrepreneur, to understand your area of expertise and why it is changing? Because to close this, tip number 8, 2020 and beyond is going to be ruled by skills, not degrees. I know this is controversial. Yes, 2020, the next decade, is about skills and not degrees. So that means if you're an entrepreneur or business leader, you need to begin to skill your people in the areas of the future now. What are those areas? I've mentioned some of them here. Data-centric, flexibility, data literacy, your ability to understand and sense how much of a market you control, the ability to scale beyond your neighborhood. That has been wonderful, and that has been what is going to change your game in 2020 and beyond. I just want to see now if we've got any questions on our page, and say hi to people that are watching us, that are online and watching us right now, because this is going to be important. Yeah, Patton was online, I can see that. Glenn, if you have any questions, please leave them online. And we just want to be able to read them and be able to thank those that are online right now. So we're going to check now and see who. Okay, right on point. Venix, thank you very much. Thank you, Venix. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The first in the series, Business Factor, all about getting you ready, all about skilling you, all about getting you to understand what is going to be the game-changing skill or ability, or indeed your understanding of the markets and what they dictate. This show is about just getting entrepreneurs, business leaders, and everybody that wants to be a game changer to own the game and shift it. I want to also take this opportunity to remind you that we're back every Tuesday from 13 hours, 1 p.m. 13 hours, 1 p.m. Central African time. Every single Tuesday, we will be back to share more nuggets and insights. So please share the information, share the knowledge, like the video, and ensure that you don't forget to comment, because the learning always happens after the show. Also, join me, if you can, on Thursdays, 13 hours, 1 p.m. Central African time, when we go and answer your questions. Ask Chilumba Bwalia. Hashtag Ask Chilumba Bwalia. Like I said, the learning starts after class is over, so remember to inbox us and remember to show us some love. Thank you very much for tuning in, and thank you very much for all that you're wishing that you could be. I wish you nothing but the best, God's blessings, and don't forget to go be awesome. Love you and God bless.